Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Now, I should have let John Gordon, we've really missed your introductions, John.
I did one over the phone, I think.
You did one over the phone?
Yeah, I think so.
But it's not the same as having John in studio doing this. And so I should have let him introduce this next guest because he kind of put the wheels and got us going so we could at least talk to Dana Barton. She is been with DU for a long time. The title of Dana is what, John?
She's Director of National Events.
That's it. I wanted to make sure he was ready on this Saturday morning. And good to have John and Ron Wong in the studio, but we are privileged to have Dana Barton with us, and we'll kind of discuss a little bit with Dana about an event that was held recently in Fort Worth in the heat of June, which I'm hoping they'll go back to April next year if everything goes all right. But good morning, Dana. How you doing?
Good morning. I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's talk about the Expo, or the DUX if you want to talk to it, at the Texas Motor Speedway. I know my good friend Bill Cooksey was down there and experienced a lot going on. It was warm, and I'm assuming that maybe we might move it to a little cooler time next year. Do you know any details on that?
I can share with you a little bit on dates for next year. We are planning on making it a little cooler for everyone. We're looking at dates in either late April or May. We're waiting to get the NASCAR race schedule confirmed.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to select our dates. But it definitely will be out of June and in the spring time frame.
But it was, from what I understand, was everybody, you being a part of DU for 21 years here, in your capacity as Director of National Events, how did things go?
It went great. We really had a great crowd. We had some great sponsors and exhibitors. I think the attendees were really amazed about having the ability to actually interact with our sponsors.
Yes.
Actually test and hold the product, shoot firearms, be able to test ride ATVs and off-road vehicles, kayak, fly cast, bait cast. I think having the ability to put those products in the hands of consumers really was a great opportunity for those that attended.
And we did end up with similar to what we've had in the past when it used to be here. You had your villages, which I think were really good. Ron, they did have a fishing village, Ron, down there. So
I sure would have liked to have been there playing that.
You can't be at three places at a time, Ron. I know that for a fact.
Is true.
But almost 150 exhibitors. Were y'all pleased with the turnout for the exhibitors too, Dana?
We were, and of course, COVID definitely impacted us. We realized that going in. We were just actually very glad to be able to pull it off with all of the things that we've dealt with COVID. But coming out of COVID, I think it definitely was successful overall. And while we would love to have more, and I anticipate having more next year, we were very pleased with the outcome.
And, of course, I know that you had a lot of things going on with the competition that you had, thanks to the good folks at Ball Shot Shells. And, of course, I know the Purina Pro Plan was a great sponsor of this event. Did it come together like you guys hoped? Because really, you didn't with COVID last year, and we'll talk a little bit with you about how that affected DU's national events. This had to be a real thing to put together, and almost like let's see if we can do this and know what next year is going to be even bigger and better.
Truly, COVID did have an impact, but I think it obviously taught us some things, not only for this event, but other events that we did throughout the year. And while it did impact us, I think, again, we were very impressed with the support of our sponsors, our partners like Purina, partners like Bass Pro Cabela's. They've certainly stepped up and really helped support this event and make the event what it was.
Well, we'll talk about last year. I know that national events is your passion, but I know at the same time I'm pretty amazed at, and John will recognize this, how these DU members, for which there are thousands.
750,000.
750,000, Dana. How they, despite what we went through last year, was able to really. It could have been a disaster, but your guys are just. You guys know how to do it. I know you know how to throw a party. So talk about how it affected your functions as a national director of events.
Well, I can certainly speak from my side, but the accolades for that really go to David Schuessler. He is the national director of event fundraising, and he and his team
did a great job. Yes,
they did. They did a phenomenal job, and they really, supported the organization through a lot of different varieties, virtual events, online auctions, and then, when COVID hit us and we had to look at how we did our traditional business and how that was going to be impacted. David and his team really put together a great plan for virtual events that we held online, obviously.
Yes, you did, yeah.
And different things that each state did that was very unique for those states. So kudos to David and his team. They truly are the ones that made it happen.
Well, I think you don't want to take any bows, but I think that pulling off this Ducks Unlimited Expo at a venue that's never been used before, Dana. I mean, the Texas Motor Speedway, it's known for speed and not for ducks. So how about the logistics of this?
They definitely are known for speed, and they are a great partner. I can tell you, there's 1,500 acres at Texas Motor Speedway.
1,500 acres.
1,500 acres, and that was basically our playground. And we had a very open canvas to be able to create what we wanted to. We turned the inside of the track into an off-road course, an electric bike course, a course for ATV and off-road. The garages were all of the areas where the exhibitors were for the pipe and
That's what I understand. I've seen pictures. Yeah.
It was truly an amazing change from what they typically use that space for. And then, of course, they've got plenty of parking, so we used that opportunity to turn that into a great gun range. So we had archery, we had a 300-yard range in the shooting village, we had rifle, pistol, and of course shotgun, 20 and 12 gauge shotgun opportunities there. So lots of space to shoot and to try out the latest firearms, handguns, and of course, ball shot shells, Federal, Remington, lots of different ammo there to test out as well. And then, of course, the fishing side, they've got a pond right there in the front. So
I was wondering about that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we had kids fishing, catch and release there. I know there's several pictures of kids catching, large fish and having a great time in the whole weekend. So it was a good event.
Well, we're talking again to Dana Barton. She's the Ducks Unlimited Director of National Events here on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I know as we bring in John Gordon, it's events like this that keep that stamp going for DU. But at the same time, we were talking to John off the air. There's so many. It's almost like a big tree with roots going everywhere, and the big tree is planted right here off Walnut Grove in Germantown Road with Ducks Unlimited, and the branches and the roots go, like John is saying, for DUTV and your snippets and all these different kind of things. What are we going to look for in 2022, John, from DUTV?
Man, big schedule coming up this year.
Okay.
Larry, we've got hunts planned in Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Maine. Yeah. Sea Ducks and Brant in Maine. So it's going to be a big season, and we'll be kicking it off all pretty soon here.
When?
I'm working on a deal right now in the Sandhills of Nebraska for teal season, and hopefully I can put that together. So that'll be early September.
Wow, it's close. And then Dana, I know is the national director of national events. Are you putting that schedule together for 2022 for you?
Yes, sir. And again, the focus really is the DUX for us. We've got some other national events that we'll be working on, but that is our big one that we're looking forward to. And I know that another team is working diligently to get the national convention together.
Yes.
And have, great plans for all of those.
Well, I know. Is it Texas Motor Speedway? Will that be the home for 2022 again?
Absolutely. It'll be the home for 2022 and 2023.
Okay. All right. Well, that means it's scheduled there, and so if we have some cooler temperatures, it'll all work out. Dana, thank you very much. Let's don't wait 20 years to talk again, okay? So
we certainly not, but thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you, Dana. All right, Dana Barton from DU's Director of National Events, and got a couple of minutes, and she sounds like it was simple, but you know that.
Oh, no. I mean, she and her team have to be applauded in a big way for putting that together, especially with the challenges of COVID. Like I said, last year we had it planned. It was going to come off in April of 2020.
Yes.
That all had to be, canceled, and that's just, you're having to regroup with all the sponsors and all that at that point, too, and really get them back online and keep them in place for the next event. And so it was a huge challenge, and once again, you have to really tip your cap to Dana and her team on what they pulled off.
And then, during that event, she has to be there to help resolve any situations that might come up and everything else. And that's a big responsibility, and it's got to be hats off to Dana and her team. Absolutely.
Everything in Texas is big, they tell me. So I don't know if I bet those ATVs had a governor on them, so they couldn't go run that track too fast.
Probably so.
Yeah, I don't
imagine
think any speed records. Let's take a break. Come right back, and it's fish time. So sit back and enjoy it, because we're getting ready to head to Lou's, and you know what that means. We're going to talk product development with Bob Brown, and here we go. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what we might expect next week at ICAST in Orlando. We'll be right back.